because the existential threat to the planet is climate change. It's real. It's real. It's genuine. They want to get rid of that as well, I might add. They want to get rid of that as well. But look, here's the bottom line, and please hear this. When it actually comes time to do something about inflation around the kitchen table, Republicans in Congress said no. If they take control, they've said their first aim is to get rid of the Inflation Reduction Act, and inflation is going to go up, not down. You know, when you sit at that kitchen table I told you about paying your bills, well, what are necessities for a vast majority of families? Prescription drugs. If you lower prescription drug costs significantly, it lowers their cost of a family, and inflation for the family is reduced. It goes on. The same way with what's in the Inflation Reduction Act has to do with your ability to be able to get tax credits for buying. If you need a new coffee machine, a new washer, a new refrigerator, you buy an efficient refrigerator, efficient coffee machine, you get a tax credit for it. Costs you less money. It's estimated average family will save $500 a year as well on just that. There are also tax credits for weatherizing your home. Put in new windows to keep or a door that doesn't, leak air and bring in the cold, etc. There's a lot in here that lowers the everyday cost for middle-class families to be able to make it. And look, I come from a wealthy state, the state of Delaware. Well, guess what? I've never been a big fan of trickle-down economy, where no, I'm serious. But that's where we've been for the last 30 years, guys. That's where we've been. If the wealthy do well, it trickles down, everybody does well. I'm a bubble-up guy. Seriously. When the middle class does well, working class people have a way up, and the wealthy do just fine. They do just fine. And by the way, the middle class built this country, and unions built the middle class. I don't want to take too much of more of your time, but this is one of the reasons I got involved in politics 800 years ago. Already, the vast majority of House Republicans have signed on to a budget they have, and I'll just read one section of the budget that they have to cut Medicare and Social Security. Now, you think I'm exaggerating this, but they have the pamphlet they put out, okay? Senator Scott, the senator from Florida, who is the chairman in charge of re-electing Republicans to the United States Senate, this year proposed a plan to put Social Security and Medicare on the chopping block every 5 years. All federal legislation sunsets in 5 years. If the law is worth keeping, Congress can pass it. Or in other words, if it doesn't affirmatively pass Medicare again, it goes away. If it doesn't affirmatively pass Social Security again, I know that sounds bizarre. Well, guess what? There was one guy that thought it was too lenient. A guy who happens to be a senator from Wisconsin named Johnson. He thinks it should be, no, every year. This is not, I never thought I'd live to see this. It's not a joke. He wants every single year the Congress would have to affirmatively vote back into law, these programs, or they go away. It's not just Social Security and Medicare. He wants to put veterans' benefits and everything else in the federal budget at risk the same way. Look, let me close with this. Over the last few years, we've faced some of those difficult challenges in our history, both domestically and in foreign policy. And we're making real progress, helping folks just get a little more breathing room. Despite the opposition from the most powerful interest, special interest, we're lowering health care costs. We're strengthening Medicare. We're fighting for folks who need our help. And one of the reasons why it's so important to America's future, we just have to remember, who in God's name we are.